recordings, if you ever do a Google meeting, like a lot of these PDs have been in Google, those recordings automatically go to your Google Drive, the host, or the person who presses record. So I just pressed record here. This should end up in my Google Drive when the meeting is over. Okay, still admitting people in Zoom. All right. So I'm on my laptop. I have my Zoom controls. And the thing that we had mentioned briefly at the very beginning about doing like 2 screens, the idea here is that on one side, like on your computer, you have, you know, your presentations, whatever you might be materials wise showing that day. And also you can do all these breakout rooms and usually manage those things a little easier on the computer. But at the same time, you just pull up your iPad, click your Zoom link from your calendar, from your lesson plan or something, or however you get to it. Even in your Seesaw, if you send it to your students, your link will be there for you as well. And join your Zoom session from the iPad. That way you always have easy, quick access to look at your students, see their cameras, pictures, whatever, and also see the chat and things like that in Zoom while at the same time on your laptop, you're presenting materials, like you have a presentation open or on a website or something. Okay, so in Zoom, I'm gonna go ahead and look for a few things. Okay, there's breakout rooms. Let's look at recording first of all. So if I click record here, you get these 2 options. Record to this computer, which is gonna record the video on your computer. It'll save it into a folder. And at the end of the session, this is the other kind of downside to doing it on your computer. At the end of the session, it opens up a window and it's like processing, and it has to like process that video. If it's a long session, a long lesson that you did while the recording was going, sometimes that can take a few minutes, and you need to make sure you keep your computer on for that to finish. If you record to the cloud, you don't have to worry about that processing at the end of it, and you'll get an email as soon as it's done in the cloud, which is usually a few minutes after you end your session. So I'm going to choose record to the cloud. And so that Zoom session will record. I can pause the recording if there's like gaps or breaks during the lesson or something that doesn't need to be. If you like send everyone out, for instance, we're going to talk about breakout rooms. If you separate out to breakout rooms and you're not still like teaching to like the recording or the camera, there's no reason to keep it going. You can just pause it. And then maybe you end your breakout rooms and come back. You can hit the resume. It looks like a triangle, like a play button. And then it'll continue recording there. The other button on that section is just to stop the recording. So you're done. You don't want to keep recording any more of this content, like you're about to end your class, end your session, whatever. And also, if you just hit end without pressing stop, it just automatically stops it and will process it or send it the email from the cloud. All right, so let's questions about recording process. Let me look at the notes I wrote. You said, can co-hosts save the recording? So about the co-hosts, I think they can start and stop it. Let's actually try this right now. I'm going to set someone in here as a co-host. Let's even talk about how to do that. That's probably a really good idea. Participants, let's see. Somebody on the Google, unmute and tell me you want to be the co-host, because I want to pick somebody who wants to try this.
I will. It's Katie Hayburn.
Hayburn, all right. And so in the participants, I'm clicking this more button and make co-host. I can even make her the host in a Zoom. So that's actually really cool to know. Let's just also look. So there's like, I could ask to start video. So on certain students or something, if you see their mute, like their videos hidden and everything, you may want to click this button and it'll pop up on their iPad, a little button that says, you know, so-and-so, the host wants you to start your video or something like that. You can make them a host, make a co-host. I would not even think about this thing about closed captions. That would be like if we had students with major hearing difficulties that needed entire classrooms to be like captioned for them. That's not something we're going to probably ever need to try to do. Allow recording. So even without making a co-host, I could allow someone to record, rename, and put someone back in a waiting room or remove. So let's just go ahead. I'll click the make co-host. It wants to confirm, and that's done. I'm also going to switch this to the grid for now. So also you have these view options. Speaker view is kind of the default. It will highlight. And right now, because I'm not actually, I'm going to unmute this just for a second. It should switch back to me. Check. Oh, it's using a different camera. Okay. Sorry, Deb, you're the star of this little portion. The grid view, if you're looking at your laptop, you have both options on the iPad, but it lets you see more of the videos at once, of course. Okay, so Katie's a co-host. I'm going to stop my recording because I want to see what options. Do you have options to record on your controls at the bottom of Zoom? And you can unmute again. Talk to me. Let me know what you see. You might want to make sure your mic is muted in Zoom.
Okay, sorry. I was talking in Zoom, not here. Wait, should I be looking at Zoom?
You can do either.
Okay, so what did you ask me again? Sorry, I got confused about my voice.
Nope, you're good. So do you see recording controls at the bottom?
Yeah, I can hit record.
Cool. And so actually click on it and you should see record to this computer or record to the cloud.
Yep, I see both.
Okay, good. So that means confirmed co-hosts can record. Arts team, I hope we're happy if you're watching this or if you're in here. That's good to know. So if you have an arts team come into your Zoom or someone else who needs to record something, they should be able to use those buttons as long as you make them at least a co-host. All right, so recording, other thoughts about that? It's also, again, just want to remind, just talk to us in the Google Meet window.
Jeff, when you're assigning the co-host, this is Coriel Burke, can you do that like automatically? So when you make the settings to make your Zoom meeting, can Katie say like in the meeting when she sets it, like Coriel Burke as co-host, or does she have to add me as a co-host every time?
Okay, that's a good question. I'm actually not 100% sure. I think you want to do it in the meeting, but let's kind of detour over to creating a Zoom.
Have to do it in the meeting.
Okay, that's good. I think that's what it's gonna say. I think that's what it is. So you don't know like 100% that your co-host is ever gonna show up. So it doesn't know like if you tried to automatically assign, it's probably just not an option to do that. So
got it. Thanks.
Yep, you do it from the participants window, and then the more next to whoever's name it is. So you know if someone else has to come and cover for somebody, at least you don't have to worry about some option you set at the beginning. The other thing, so let's talk about creating your Zoom links. There's a couple ways to do it, and from what I find the easiest now, we have Zoom as an integration in your string theory calendar. I'm just typing calendar.stringtheoryschools.org, and that takes us, anyone can type that. It takes you straight to your Google Calendar. So you can really easily get a Zoom link just by clicking to make a new event. And then where it says add video conferencing, instead of just having Google Meets as an option, we also have a Zoom meeting. And the first time you do that, it'll probably like pop up another window that tells you to log into Google so it can link your Zoom account to your calendar, even though we're already logged in, linked with Zoom meetings. You may not even have to do that. It may just do exactly what it did for me. Create an ID, create a password. And then when you send this out to guests, here's the other nice thing about Google Calendar is as soon as I typed in Christina's name as a guest, behind it, it shows me all these calendar events so that when I'm picking my time to schedule with the group of people that I'm doing, I can find an open time for everybody. So where I've picked 3 o'clock to 3:50, that's probably not a good time, you know. So I think that's the easiest way. It doesn't show you every single option of Zoom. So the other way, if you need some more Zoom type options, is just going to the Zoom website, and in the top right, I click sign in, and that website is just zoom.us, and then hit sign in the top right and sign in with Google, and you'll sign in with your String Theory Schools Google account. So if that's the only account you've ever used, it won't even show you this. It'll just go straight in. If you also had a Gmail, a personal one that you've used, it'll make sure you choose the right one, choose your school account. And it'll show you your meetings, and you can schedule a meeting. And, you know, if we're talking about maybe we'll do, for instance, just like week 1, and this is Hayburn, 2nd grade, something like that. So you don't have to use a description. You can set it as a recurring meeting so that it's going to apply every day from, it'll go on a calendar at, let's say, I don't know the virtual schedule off the top of my head. So maybe it's 8 a.m. and it recurs. You can change it to weekly and then choose days of the week. So choose your weekdays. Repeats every week. That's what 1 week would be. And you can change this to end. Maybe we just want to try this for 1 week using this recurring link. So let's tell it to end at the end of, I guess I picked today's as a start date. I'll just tell it to end at next Friday. So then when I create this meeting, let's look through the other settings here. We want students to use their iPad audio and not have to call in on a phone. That would be trouble, I think. We can't enable join before host, so they're always going to have to wait for you to start a meeting. And mute participants upon entry is definitely something we want to keep checked. You can change that, but you definitely want to keep that checked, because that just solves a lot of, you know, as we've even had a few things this week, you want to make sure you keep your participants muted when they start so they don't think they're off when they actually aren't. Oh, here's a nice little, it's just giving me this tip. If you haven't been able to successfully do this in Zoom, make sure in your Zoom app on your computer that you've updated, and I'll show you how to check for updates in just a second. Okay, here is breakout room pre-assigns. So this is going to be, I'm not sure how this is even going to work. I really feel like this is going to be more trouble than it's worth. Let's just create a couple rooms. So you'd have to have all your student emails. It's not even going to pop anything up for me, so I'm not even sure some student names. You could do this in advance. I just think it's going to be a lot of trouble, because I'll show you breakout rooms are actually pretty easy to create on the fly. There is an option to automatically record in the cloud. It does give you that choice. I still think it's nice at the very beginning. There's a bunch of, you know, just kind of logistic, getting started, welcome stuff that you don't necessarily want to record. I like to just hit record when it's actually time. Okay, I'm going to save that. I left that breakout room pre-assigned checked, but I didn't actually set it up. So I don't think that's going to cause us any issues. But let's go, I'm going to look back at Zoom, and let's look at breakout rooms right now. So this Zoom session that we're looking at had nothing pre-assigned. And I just click the button, and it shows me how many people are in here. And it just, I think it picks a number to put 4 to 5 people in a room. So it like automatically does some math to get close to 4 to 5 in a room. But you could change that into, maybe you want, you know, 2 to 3 kids in a room at once. So you can bring that number up higher. Or maybe you want to have more like a group of 10 or 12. So you can just up and down arrows on that, or type it in. You want 4 groups, you've created like a rotation of activities for 4 different groups to do, virtual rotation. So you want 4 groups the whole time, and however many students you have, that's all you have to do. So automatically or manually, If you do automatic, it's just going to throw everyone in your room into a breakout. So I've done that before. Let's click manually just to see what it gives us. Create breakout rooms. Okay. So this, if you see these breakout rooms have a little arrow next to them, it's showing me there's nobody assigned into those rooms. So this pressing manually is going to cause you to have to go and assign people to rooms. If I went back and did automatic, it would automatically put just, I don't know if it does it like randomly or alphabetical or something. It will just throw in, you know, the first 7 people in one, the next 7 people in the next 8 people in the next, etc. But if we want to specifically put certain people together, you can, so I just clicked assign next to breakout room 1, and I'm going to put in, you know, so many people, assign on the next one. And the nice thing is it takes them out of this list. So the same people I assigned into room 1, they're not in this list anymore. So I'm assigning another group of however many that is. Assign into room 3. And maybe you know you're going to do heterogeneous or homogeneous groups, and you know your levels of students. I'm going to go ahead and assign the rest. And if I click this, that would be the manual long way of doing it. I could have just hit automatic and it will put everyone in a room right away, and I'll just, and this is exactly what I'll see, this list of everyone, and you could maybe look over it and say, okay, they look fine, like a random sort is okay, or if you know, okay, those few people together isn't going to work, or if you also have like support teachers with you or other teachers that you know need to be in the breakout rooms, you can move them over to a different room. Okay, I've got, you know, Miss Shannon needs to be in room 3 because I looked down and I saw there wasn't any other teacher there, etc. As soon as I hit open all rooms, it's going to give you all a pop-up to go into your breakout room. So I'm not going to see that, for instance, so I'm going to hit that. Everyone should see an example of that. If you're in your, if you go look at your Zoom session, if you did join the Zoom, you should see a breakout room, like a pop-up that it wants you to join it. I think I probably need to admit some folks. So somebody back on our Google window, if you unmute and tell us about that breakout room session, it just pops up in the middle of your screen, or does it force you into a room, or what is that experience like for students?
It looks like it just pops up and it says join breakout room, I think, or later. And it
okay,
just
so they can, it sounds like they have the choice to like not go to a breakout room. So who just spoke? Sorry, I
it's
didn't
here.
Okay, thanks. Sorry. So let me look. You probably like went into the room, right?
I didn't actually.
You didn't. Okay, great. So okay, it even tells me, if you're still seeing my screen, it's showing me who did not join a room in the list. Yeah, so there it is. It says you didn't join.
So if you move me, I wonder if I automatically go.
If I move you, I don't think it will automatically do it, but let's
try.
It'll maybe tell me if it pops up again.
No, nothing's popping up right now.
Okay, but maybe at the bottom, or on, you're on your laptop, right? Is there a breakout room button for you, or is it say a more? Is there a more you should click? Somehow you should still be able to get into it if it should still give you an option.
Oh yeah, so before I didn't have the opportunity to, like, it didn't say breakout room for me on the bottom, but now it does, and it says that you've been assigned to breakout room 1. So now I can join it if I want.
Great. Okay.
But when you made me co-host, I didn't have the option for breakout rooms.
When you, okay, as a co-host, you didn't have.
So I could record, but the breakout room button wasn't there for me.
Okay, I think breakout rooms are only given to the host. So let's, since you're like my guinea pig for the day, I'm going to go to participants and make you the actual host of this. I'll probably lose my breakout rooms button But let's see if the breakout rooms, stay in place like a lot of people are in them. Also, before I do that, if you're seeing my screen on Google, these are the group of people who didn't go to a room. So everyone else, it basically took them to a different meeting. So now I can still talk to Katie, Brittany Hoffman, Allison Shannon, Rosetta, and say, hey guys, you need to go to your breakout room with your other teacher. Like now's your time. Click the more button or wherever that is. Was it a more button, Katie, that you had to click?
It was the breakout button on Zoom.
Oh, it actually shows it to you. Okay,
Yeah.
Great.
Wait, Katie, so you can see the breakout rooms as a co-host, right?
No, I couldn't.
Oh,
No.
oh, okay.
I only can now because I didn't join his breakout room.
She has the button to go to a room, but she doesn't have the management, which only the host has.
So like we're just thinking like if the ELL teacher or the special ed teacher or even like the Novi or someone has to pull out kids into a small group, they won't be able to do that if they're not the host.
Yeah, so that's going to be so you're like the lead teacher. At the time that you have a breakout rooms, what would you be doing yourself?
So for instance, like our ELA block looks like a breakout room with an aide and us, and then the other students are on Lexia. And then we rotate. That's how it is for K-2.
Okay. So I think you kind of have the couple options are stay the host, and then as the host, you kind of have to be the one in control of that list of breakout rooms, or you could make your co-teacher, or for instance, if it's in the during a general session where that that you're realizing someone needs to pull a couple kids out. And this is also the language there is they can't really force a student into a breakout room. So, but if an ESL teacher needs to bring over just one or two students, whoever's the host has to set it up. So you might transfer the host to that ESL teacher so they can click the breakout rooms, create, one or two rooms, and just bring themselves and the one or two students they need into the breakout room, and then click open rooms, and then, just those small amount of students can go.
Okay.
Let's see. So I'm going to give you the host right now, and let's see. Change host. So our breakout room breakup stayed, it looks like, because the main group here, where there's still only a handful of us, didn't change. It didn't force everyone back out. So changing the host didn't hurt our breakout rooms. That's good to know. And if you're my screen should still be recording, so at the bottom I don't have a button for breakout rooms anymore. I'm probably not assigned to a breakout room right now. So actually, Katie, while you're the Zoom host, you should now have the breakout room, the management.
Yeah, I have the button now, and it's an unassigned says Jeff, so I am able to now assign you to a breakout room.
Why don't you assign me to one, and I'll just jump into one. You guys will kind of see what it looks like. Again, we're looking at the computer view, so the student view is going to be slightly different, but it will be some kind of button at the bottom.
All right, let me assign you to one.
Okay, there I got to pop up right away. I'm actually going to click later, but here's my new button. It just appeared for me because I'm assigned to one. I can go and join it. So I pressed later, but the teacher told me, hey, Jeff, you didn't go to your room yet. You need to go ahead and go. And I'm going to click now my join breakout room.
And right now it says that you're in breakout room 2, but it says you haven't joined. So you went from unassigned to assigned, but just joined.
Yep. So now I just click join. It's telling me it's joining the room. It may take a moment. And now I'm in a room with Miss Blum and Miss Friedman and a bunch of folks. So, yep, I'm in this breakout room. So as the host, Katie, you have options to close all rooms. Don't do that yet.
Yeah, close all room. I have the breakout rooms, the closed caption. So I have everything that I didn't have as a co-host. So what is the purpose of a co-host? What does that do?
The co-host can do, Why don't you make me a co-host right now? Because this way my screen's recording. I can actually show what a co-host does get. So this is good, everyone. That we're doing a good walkthrough here of what a host can see. And now if you make me a co-host from participants, and then we'll see what a co-host will see, and that'll be recorded as well.
I think I can only do that if we get out of the breakout rooms. Because right now, the only participants in the Zoom are me and Ali Shannon.
Okay, so I'm going to leave the breakout room that I'm in right now. Returning me to main session, it says.
Okay, got it. So
more on my name next to participants, and then
do a co-host. Okay, I just need you a co-host.
Awesome. So my Zoom is thinking pretty hard about getting back to the main session. Okay, there we go. So now I see controls that a co-host has, and let's just kind of observe what the difference is here. I do have a button for breakout rooms.
But I think that's because the breakout rooms are in process. When the breakout rooms are not in process.
Yep. So that just gives me my join my breakout room too or not. So co-host can't manage it, but now I do have the record button and the participants. As a co-host, I have the, let's see.
People who aren't in a breakout room.
Yeah, so it's just a handful of us. I could ask you to start your video, but for other people in this list, so I can allow people to record. That's a co-host duty. The normal people who are not a co-host or a host at all don't even have like any like options on people. They can't rename them or put them in a waiting room or remove them. So a co-host kind of gets the participants options, like this mute all. In Zoom, you can mute all as a co-host, which is a helpful thing. You know, your lead teacher's going through, but a bunch of people's mics are unmuted and it's causing a little chaos. As a co-host, you can just go to open the participants, mute all, and oh, here's a button. Maybe because I created this whole Zoom in the first place, I can reclaim the host seat. I'm not going to do that yet. Lock the meeting. So I think that would prevent anyone else from coming in. And then you can turn on some of these other things about allowing participants to unmute themselves. If it's some period of time where you really don't want anyone to be talking, which I don't think we really want to get into like long periods of time with that, you could prevent participants from unmuting themselves. All right, so let's go ahead, Katie. I'm gonna reclaim host.
Go ahead.
So now your breakout room, my big window with all the names for the breakouts pop back up. I'm gonna go ahead and click close all rooms, and that takes a minute to end. So for someone, yeah, go ahead.
Sorry, just real quick. If you're in breakout rooms and instead of redoing breakout rooms, I don't know if I missed this, but can you swap places with one person? So like, can I switch places with my aide so I take over her breakout room?
You could. The host would have to be the one to move those around.
Okay, thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Was there a time limit? Like, I know I've seen in the past they gave them like so much time. I don't know if I saw that when you did that.
We should be unlimited now. The Zoom, when we first started, did have a limit, but now...
I mean the breakout room. So like, say if you want to do it every 20 minutes.
I don't think so. I think breakout rooms can... the only thing that I'm seeing is that it does take a minute to close breakout rooms, but now in like 5 seconds, everyone's going to flood back into the main room. And I can do, again, I could start another round of breakout rooms in like probably right away. Like right now, the entire list, if you're still seeing my screen, the whole list is still set up in the same breakout. I could click open all rooms again right now, and everybody would get a pop-up to join back to their room. So maybe you all come back for some few minutes of discussion, and then go out again, send them back out to breakout rooms, that kind of thing. Okay, I just clicked the options next to the breakout rooms. So this does speak a little bit to time. You could automatically close rooms after some certain amount of time and have it notify you when the time is up, but that was off by default for me. It's also, when I first started breakout rooms, it's giving me the option to open the rooms when I want to click that button. I could have it move all participants into breakout rooms automatically. I'm actually going to check this box and try that again in a few seconds. We can also disable that countdown after closing breakout rooms. So if I don't want to have to wait a whole minute, like I know, okay, I said at 2:10 the rooms are going to be done, and it's 2:10 right now. I don't want to have to wait on a 60-second countdown, so I'm disabling that option. So I'm going to send us all to breakout rooms again. Let me look at this Zoom gallery view. We should see, okay, so everybody's back in the main Zoom session. I'm just making sure I admit everybody who needs to be in the Zoom, and I'm going to send us all to breakout rooms again while this option, the first one, it says move all participants into rooms automatically. And probably Katie, again, let me know, does it force, let's also look at unassigned to make sure there's nobody unassigned. 1, 2, 3, 4, I don't see anybody, I don't see a separate section there. Should be like an unassigned section if there was. So I'm going to click open all rooms, and let's see if it pushes everybody out to a room or if it still makes you, asks you if you want to go to it.
It's just pushing us, I think.
Yeah, so it doesn't look like it did give you an option. Oh, Caitlin, you were unassigned, so I'm going to assign you to room 3. You probably just got a pop-up, and you probably just click join. Or did it force you? I'm curious, Caitlin Brittingham, if you unmute in the Google Meet and let me know, did it force you to your room, or did you have to press join?
It forced me into my room.
Okay, great, thank you. So the options while rooms were not open was a button down here, and I can't change those options now that rooms are actually open, but I had checked move all participants to the room automatically. So that doesn't give them a choice to say no or whatever, which is a nice little idea. While the rooms are open, this is another, just a little feature of the breakout rooms. I could send a text, is a chat from the host. And it should go into like the chat of each room. So you could use that to say breakout rooms, you know, finish up your discussion and in 2 minutes, something like that. And broadcast that. And then 2 minutes go by. And I'm pretty sure I disabled that countdown. It doesn't show me the options again, so I can't turn the countdown off now. I'm going to click close all close all rooms, and everybody should jump back. Yep, here they go. Yep. It probably like loads for a few seconds on your screen to reconnect you to the main meeting. So that feels like all the things about breakout rooms. Is there any other questions or notes about breakout rooms anyone else has previously discovered or anything? Okay, so besides breakout rooms, we talked about the recording, and those are most of what we talked about. Let's talk about posting into Seesaw. So this Zoom link, I'm already in the Zoom, so it's easy always just to get the Zoom info from this little eye in the top left corner. You can just copy the link. Or if you did it from your calendar, you can copy a Zoom link. If you created one with Zoom, your Zoom link and info will be underneath. Or if you created a meeting at the Zoom website, you can, I think my info, oh, the link, invite link is just right here, so I can just copy this. And then let's open up Seesaw. Oh, and I'm looking at Seesaw from an administrator. So let me see if I can jump in as a teacher from here, because I want to show how to kind of post this. There's two ways that I think I watched a few videos earlier. There's a couple good ways you can post as work, like an assignment. When you press that green plus button, you have post as assignment, or you have send announcement. So either of those are pretty good ways to put a Zoom link in Seesaw. I'm going to go into Seesaw as, let's go with Katie Hayburn again for our demo today. So finally, Seesaw. So this add button, if you want it to show up in this feed, this like class journal, you can click add and post student work. And I'm not actually going to post it, just so you know. And use a link. Use the link option. Seesaw is probably not happy because I use like a dark mode. Let me turn this off. Refresh. Okay. So add post student work and use a link and just enter. I just copied and now I'm just pasting it from where I copied it. And I should also be able to, I'm going to hide this Zoom window. Should be able to add like a caption or something. No, I don't want to draw.
If you need to post it, you can. We can just delete it right away.
Okay, that's true. Good idea. Link. I want to, so somewhere there was a section, I was watching someone demonstrate this. You can like type a caption under it or say like, maybe I just need to check for that. Okay, there we go. I pasted the link in, pressed the green check at the end of it, and then it gives the like Zoom logo. And then I click the green check mark in the top right, and then it lets you choose, do you want to send it to the whole class? I think for right now, I'll actually just do the sample.
Yeah, it is sample student. That's perfect.
Yeah. And then check again. And maybe in this case, I'll just put the comment, join us for our first day Zoom meeting, you know, however we want to word that. And you could all, I guess on our first day, whatever your grade level meetings are, or however that breakout is, so you can all share that link from your Seesaw directly to all your students, and they will get that on their iPads. So that's just, here it shows it's just being seen by the sample student. So that's a nice way. It shows who's giving that message, and then for a student, they get a really similar view. They just would click right on it. The other way is you could do send an announcement. And maybe this is where I was seeing that you can just type put your link there and say, give kind of the same message. Join us. You don't have to add any attachment when it's a link. All students, all family members, which it's telling us there's no one in family members. So sending it to students is what the point is of doing it through Seesaw. If you want to communicate to family, it sounds like Parent Square is the way to do that. And I'm actually not going to send it, but that would just go into the inbox section of your Seesaw classroom, and you'll see previous messages or that one that you've sent.
So that was just for the Zoom link. That wasn't for the recording.
Right. Okay. Great. So let's do. Let me show you how you get a recording from the cloud. So if you go to your email, once you finish a recording, once you finish a session or stop the recording, you'll get an email. And I think the emails will say they're from Zoom recording. So here's one example, cloud recording. This is my Seesaw PD wow, I can't even remember how long ago it was. Was it last week or was it a few days ago? Seesaw PD. And here's what it shows you. You have the option just for you to click and view your recording. You can't share this link, it tells you. Or you can use this link to share with people who want to view it. And you also need to make sure you include this password. But this link also lets them see the chat that goes along with your session. So if you utilize the chat, it's a good idea. But if you don't really make use of the chat for your students, like you don't use it, like if most of your communication is just through the video, then you don't have to use this link, which makes them have to use a password. You can download the files. It'll give you this option in the top right. And there's my movie file. So of course they have like random characters for names. It looks like the date is in there. So it downloaded. MP4 is the movie file. This other two files is like the text of the chat and just the audio. So you can choose Show in Finder when you do a download. This is from Chrome. And it'll automatically go to your downloads folder on your computer. So you don't have to do Show in Finder. You can just open up a Finder window and go to downloads. And it at least has the date. It also says the name of the session. So I could just rename this Seesaw PD. I'm just going to leave it at that. Let's go back over to Seesaw and do add. So you say you think you might want to add it into the journal, like as a student work, kind of to put it in that main flow. Does that sound?
Yeah, so they can see the work.
Yep. So add that as a video. It gives you the option here to also record, or we should be able to just upload.
I think you have to add it as a file.
Okay, yes, thank you. So upload, here we go. Yeah, file, photo, video. Great, love that. Upload, drop file. I can drag and drop it. So Finder, Seesaw PD. Also, this video file, it says it's 230 megabytes. So let's see if it gives us any kind of error, like, oh, it's too big or anything like that. Large files are slow to upload. Okay, that's maybe true, but let's continue anyway. If you're teaching from the school, the internet there is pretty fast, especially when there's not going to be 1,100 people in the building. So that won't be an issue at all. And even for any of you at home, I mean, if you're able to do a Zoom session, it may take a minute or 2 minutes, 5 minutes, whatever, to upload it. But I'm Zooming at the same time as uploading this, and it looked like it was pretty quick. And
How many minutes is the video?
How many
minutes?
This is my whole session. So this is Seesaw.
Learning experiences integrate the family.
37 minutes long.
Oh, wow.
So yeah, I'm gonna put this as draft and choose the sample student. You guys would probably choose the whole class and save it as a draft. Uploading. Okay, here's where it might actually be doing the uploading. Visible only to me in the tag student, except that it's a draft. Oh yeah, so I guess the sample student can see it as a draft. That doesn't make sense. But I think the upload already finished behind the scenes because it's not showing me like a progress bar. It's like not telling me to wait here while it finishes. It seems like it already did finish the upload behind the scenes. And that was, just for an example, like a 230 megabytes, and it was about 37 minutes long. So that didn't seem to take extra time at all. And you could just post that directly without having it be a draft. And if you do it in your main window, like we just did, this class journal, and choose all the students, then they'll just see it right away. And as you're going, like if you're going to post those every day or every how often, it'll just accumulate in Seesaw. It's like the feed. So like at the top is the most recent stuff. So they can go back if they missed a week or something, they can still go down and watch it day by day. So that feel pretty good?
Yeah, this is so helpful, Jeff.
Awesome. Great. Oh, there's tons of chat happening in Google that I haven't seen. Has anybody been able to kind of look at that? Any major point out questions that I could hit there? I'm kind of going to look through. So, Anthony, I'm going to suggest I'm noticing your Power School still doesn't have the rosters because there's like an error where they can't transfer the students from the previous teacher to you because they were already created with the previous teacher, but that teacher is disabled. So that's still trying to be resolved today. With that, just so you know, like your Clever and stuff will happen after that is fixed. Your Seesaw access may even be linked to that. So I'm not sure if you had been able to get into Seesaw yet. Your Zoom account, this is a good question for Skander. So let's make sure for anyone who's new and hasn't been able to get into Zoom, we log into Zoom through Google. So make sure, I kind of mentioned that earlier, just make sure you log in with your stringtheoryschools.org email. And that should automatically make sure you're logging into like our school account where you get all the, this unlimited time and all the breakout rooms and recording features. Okay, so Christina Mueller, your Zoom account still showing as basic. I wonder if you just try logging out and make sure you log back in with your String Theory Schools account.
I am. I already did that a couple times, and I tried.
But still shows basic?
Still basic, yep.
Okay. Okay. Was there anyone else who similarly having that problem? I think those folks, let's just set up let's send an email to Mr. Perez and ask about the list of people who have that issue where their Zoom account isn't like a fully teacher account. He may be able to just add you, or it might send you an email with a link that you have to click, something like that.
I did that like a couple weeks ago because I did get something to like connect my account to his.
Okay.
I do that, but for some reason it's still basic.
Yeah, so that's good. If anyone did get an email, let's say like join Iskander Perez. It used his name instead of saying like arts and sciences, but that is our school education Zoom plan. So you do want to join that. If anyone got an email from Zoom and it said Iskander Perez is inviting you to join, make sure you go ahead and click that. And then for, Christina, Anthony, I'll ask Iskander if he can send you the invite again or something like that. Wow, we filled an hour. This all was really good though, so I'll make sure I save this recording. We're gonna send it out to all the teams.